Okay. Start admitting. Try. Like this keyboard. Admit. You have to do also. Admit all.
No. No. Correct. No. Oi! Kerja. Mungkin Zoom meeting dulu lah. Zoom meeting kalau net alliance nama tu youth empowerment. Apa benar? Ini office dulu, digital office dulu. Full day office. Full day office.
Audio off
ಬಂದು ನಿಕಲ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆದ ಏತಿ ಕಾಪು ನಿಕಲ ಓಕೆ ಬೈ ಫೈನ್ ಗುಡ್ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್
Maya, who is the other person you wanted me to admit? A1. Okay. Yeah, I did it.
Yes, what is it?
Now,
ನನಗೆ ಶೇಖರಣ್ಣ ಮಲ್ಲ ಎಂಡಿ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ತೋರಿದ್ರು ಮಾರ್ರೆ.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ
ಅವ್ರು ಕೇಳ್ನ ದಾನೆ ದಾನ ಸುರಾತ್ ಜಾವಣ್ಣದು
yeah, Maya, I have made A1 the admin co-host, so now he can start admitting.
I think it's already
From this one.
PDG ಒಳ್ಳೆರು ಅರ್ನ ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಇಲ್ಲಡ ಆಫೀಸ್
Yes.
Good.
ಏ PDG ಎಂಕ VDG ಜಿಂದಗಿ
PDG ನನಗೆ ಈಗ ಮಾಡೋದೇನ PDG ಅಂತ
ಹೌದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಆಡಿಯೋ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಚಾಟ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಸೇರ್ತೇನೆ ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಚಾಟ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವು ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಬಂದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿ ಲೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಆಯ್ತು ಕೇಳಿ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡಿದಾಗೆ ಇದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಮ್ಮದೇ ಈರುಳ್ಳಿ ಮತ್ತೊಂಡು ನೀನು ಬದ್ನಾಜಿ ವೇಟಿಂಗ್ ರೂಮ್ ಒಂಜುಂಡು ಕೇಳುಜಿರು ಬಾತಿರ್ನ ರಮೇಲಕ್ಕ ಬಾತಿರ್ನ ಕೇಳುಜಿ
ಅಂತ ಎಂಕಲು
ಬಲ್ತಾರಾ ಓಕೆ co-host ರಮೇಲ ಶೇಖರ್ ಹೋಸ್ಟ್ ಓಕೆ A1 ಹೋಸ್ಟ್ ನಾನು ಓಕೆ ಐಶಾ ಶೆಟ್ಟಿ ಪದ್ನಾಜಿ ಇದು ಆಡಿಯೋ ಏರಿಯಾಗೆ ಎಂಕ್ ಏರಿಯಾಗೆ ಬುಕ್ಕ ಮೇರೆಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಏರಿಯಾಗೆ
Cecilia Govies
ಬುಕ್ಕ ಜೂಲಿಯಟ್
Farida andundal na pudar Farida Govies. Farida, are you there?
ಉಜ್ಜಿ
Ullir Farida
ಏನ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಮುಂದೆ
ಇದು ಗೊತ್ತು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಆಚೆ ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂಚೆ ಆಚೆ ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಕಾತಂದಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು
Not mailed there. Should I make it?
I can't see.
Ramila?
Hi. No, Maya sir was asking where are you, so he wanted to see you. So you can say hi.
Yes, hello.
Yeah.
That is
Namaskara.
Namaste.
that is Farida Cecilia Govis, the IQAC coordinator of Roshnilaya.
Okay. IQAC School of Social Work.
IQAC.
IQAC coordinator.
ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಈಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಎನೇಬಲ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ವಾ
Where are you, Ramila?
I'm at home. That is the background that we have given.
So nice.
ಈಗ ವೇಟಿಂಗ್ ರೂಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಉಂಟಲ್ಲ ಈಗ
ಇಲ್ಲಿ there is one security. ಇದು ವೇಟಿಂಗ್ ರೂಮ್ ಅದನ್ನು ಅನ್‌ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ
Mr. Shekhar Butwari is in his office.
ಅದು ನಾವೇ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ
ಅಲ್ಲ ಅದು ನಿಮ್ದೊಮ್ಮೆ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆದ ನಂತರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಒಳ್ಳೇದು
ಅಲ್ಲ ವೇಟಿಂಗ್ ರೂಮ್ ಎಂಚಿನ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಎನೇಬಲ್ ದಮ್ ಟು ಎಂಟರ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ at ರವಿಲಕ್ಕ
What is it?
why to make them to wait why to make the people there in the waiting room there is no necessity we can enable them to directly enter into it ಅವರದು
How do I do that? Okay.
just ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡೋದು
ನೀವು ರೆಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ
ನಮ್ಮ ರೆಡಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಸುರ್ಮಲ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿದ್ದ ನಮ್ಮ
6 o'clock we'll start. We do
6 o'clock we'll start.
Okay, what you can do is, ma'am, in that security, you're the host, right?
Yeah.
See, in the security.
If the security undata computer.
Yes.
When you click on that, you have a first one is log meeting, not that one. The second one.
Enable waiting.
Uncheck. Now, once you are ready. Once you are checking and all everything, who are now some are there, no, inside in the. Then once you'll be starting, you can uncheck this one so that no need of admitting. They will be automatically in the Zoom meeting.
Okay. So I just do enable wait. Just remove the check.
Yes. And one more thing. See, now it is an open discussion or what kind of meeting? Only the EC members are going to.
Yeah.
Only the co-host is going to speak, right?
Co-host and
2 people. Other 2 or 3.
3 people.
Yeah. So make them as a co-host and others and all you can in that security only unmute themselves is there. No, that you have to uncheck so that no one can unmute and speak.
Okay.
Then there will be no cross talks.
Okay. I made yes. I made Ronald Gomes, sir. I made you the co-host, so you can come in. Then I think I have to make Bhagyashri also.
Also, yeah.
Yes, I can see her. I have made you the co-host, Bhagya. So,
Arvind Chane.
Arvind Shanai hasn't come in, I think so.
Ulay paidya yaru
Co-host ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ
posting ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅರವಿಂದ್ ಚಂದ್ರ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಣ್ಣ
You want to allow this?
ಅರವಿಂದ್ ಚಂದ್ರ ಬೈದ್ಯಾನಲ್ಲ
Ji.
ನನ್ನ 2 ಜನ ಒಂಜಿ ಅಲ್ಪ ಇರ್ನ 2 ಜನ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ಆಫ್
she too hasn't come, so I'll do that.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಬಂದ ನಂತರ ಮಾತ್ರ ಆಗುದಲ್ಲ ರಮೇಶ್ ಶೇಖರ್
background white is not correct.
Can you do that they enter by themselves?
Thoda. Told you not.
Whom and all are going to speak, you make them as a co-host.
Yes, that's what I've done.
Yeah. Okay. So then you can in the security you can do that. Yeah, unmute themselves is.
Yes.
Now you have admitted all, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now you can enable that meeting room. I think you have done. Yeah. Now
I have done that.
It will come. Yeah.
Now I just have to do that unmute themselves. Correct?
Yeah.
I remove that unmute themselves, sir.
Yes. Now otherwise.
Yeah, it's done.
Once you mute all, ma'am. Mute all.
Where is that?
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೆಂಟ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಉಂಟದ ಫಿಫ್ತ್.
Correct.
Okay. In the down there is one mute all is there.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I did that.
Yes. Now all are muted. Only co-host can unmute and speak.
Yes.
Host and post.
Host and co-host. If anybody wants to speak, then you have to send a request to them. Like in the gallery view, when you on their name, you click, then you will get that ask to unmute. Yeah, send a request.
Gomes, okay, ta?
Yes.
Okay. Bhagya? Okay, ta? You need to unmute if you want.
Unmute and do it.
Side ಇಡೋದು ಮಾಡ್ತಂದು. That is
correct.
Maltara?
Yes, Malte.
Mandana mere Farida.
Farida is there.
Unmute.
You have to unmute Farida.
She has unmuted. Okay.
She wants to join, but
Farida,
not having, she saying.
Mr. Farida ma'am,
Juliet wants to join. She's saying the host is, it shows that somebody has to admit her.
Now it is enabled.
Now it is enabled.
She can come in, just say.
Now it is enabled.
Now they can join.
Directly they can join.
And tell her to show me her, put on a video so I can make her the co-host.
Wonderful. Next time in the background green malkodu Ramilaka.
Oh, green.
In the background green malkodu dai badana ಪೂಜೆಲು ಮಾತ್ರ ಇಂಚೆ ಫುಲ್ ಅಂಚಿಂಚಾಯಿಲೆ ಫುಲ್ ಶೇಕಿಂಗ್ ತೋಜೊಂದುಂಡು ಎಂಕು ದುಬ್ಬುದ ಕನ್ನಡ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಒಂದುಂಡು
ಮಿರರ್ your virtual background you have to set it as a mirror ನಮಗೆ ಈಗ ಉಲ್ಟಾ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಉಂಟು SM ಅಂತ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಉಂಟು
ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಸಹ ಹೌದು
No,
ಉಲ್ಟಾ ತೋಜೊಂದುಂಡು
you can see but we can see the mirrored
mirror image.
So if you better in that video calling there is a virtual.
okay, we'll do that. We'll do that.
ಯಾಕೆ ಅದು ಫೋಟೋ ಆಂಡ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿತಾ
Where? What can I see in this?
Else, Farida has principal join.
ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ
Yeah, yes, go ahead.
ಕುಡುಪಿ ಕೋಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರ ಕುಡುಪಿನ
Kudupi Baidera,
ಅವತ್ತು ತುಲ ತೋಜೊಂದು the most serious face what you can see it is the Kudupi Arventunis.
hello. In what name has she joined? Principal? Okay, fine. Yes. Kudupi I got. Okay. No. Okay, I made Arvind the co-host. Yeah, no, she has not joined. So please come.
Yes. And 100 and. You start, Tata?
Yes.
100% limited.
Okay, now ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ.
Yeah, we are.
ಹೌದು. ಯಾನ್ ಪಾತ್ರ ಯಾನ್ ತೋಜೋಣ ನನ್ನ ಸ್ಪಾಟ್ಲೈಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕ
Chairman, speak in English, please.
ಇದು ಏನದು ಸ್ಪಾಟ್ಲೈಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಕಡೆ ಕುಡುಪಿನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಉಪ್ಪಟ್ಟು ಬಿಡ್ಲೆ ತೊಂದ್ರೆ ಬುಕ್ಕದು ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು కదా ಓಕೆ
Yeah, start.
Okay.
Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and hearty welcome to this very special program, Lions Clubs International and District 317D, along with Leo District, and with a wonderful association with IQAC, School of Social Work, Roshni Nilaya, Mangalore, and Lions Club Mangalore, and our own Manas Shanti Mangalore have come together to organize this very, very effective and very, very useful a skill development workshop series. And the first of its kind, we are conducting this program from Lions. So it's a community development through youth champions and a series of training programs, training the trainers. And the first of its kind and the first program on this series, what we are going to do is a psychological well-being and self-care. Time is moving very fast. The human being is just racing towards it with technological advances, racing against the time. Gone are those days that we used to take some time to settle down, settle our foot, get strong, and then develop the story of success. Now it is an era of Formula One race. Whoever goes faster, he will be more successful. Technological advances, technological innovations have taken human being to the different world. The digital world has created a different arena for a human being, their thinking, the way they deal with the people, the way the all sort of activities which is being done, that has completely changed with the past 2 decades. Google has given over a entirely different world, and information on the fingertips was never ever even imagined. The advancement of all these things has made the youngsters coming up, achieving success to the biggest level at a very young age, and we are used to call it the youth champions or youth icons. What actually matters here on the positive side is not only about attaining success, but the concern what is there in a quest, in an attempt to go into the top, the amount of stress and the race against the time, the speed with which they are supposed to go. In all these, when I combine together, they are leading a very, very stressful life. To achieve a success, it is stressful. To be there in the top, at the top of the pinnacle of success is another challenge. This type of stresses has made the youngsters and the youths are going under very, very severe trauma life. In this order, whenever our body fails something in a medical way, we need to have a medication. In the same matter, the psychological effect, the mindset, the mind also needs some treatment, and it is only putting the things in order. Please remember one thing. The life of any successful person is not free of any stress and tension. Everybody is moving through the same pace. Everybody is going through the same way, the stress, what you are going through. But how you take it, how you go through it, how you take it as a challenge, that makes a lot of difference. So in an effort to give some tips about your mental health, we are today organizing this series of program of a skill development of workshop, and the first one of the psychological of well-being and self-care. To taking care of anybody, anything is fine. But first, you take care of yourself. You take care of your thinking. Take care of your mind, because mind is the one which is going to give a lot and lot of success to you. All the good things that starts from there, and it is because of it to taking care of the health of the mind. We are starting with the series, and this is the first of its kind program. Hearty welcome to you all. The students of School of Social Work, Roshan Nilayam, I'd like to thank you, and your simple participation. Also, we are just seeing more than 100 participants. That itself shows that you are very much engaged, very much serious about your health being both physically and mentally. Now, to do this, we have a very, very unique combination. The dynamic duo, I can tell you, Ramila Shekhar and Dr. Avinash Shekhar. Who doesn't know Ramila? As a counselor and as a mental health educator, Ramila Shekhar has been a very, very household name, not only in Mangalore, in South Kendra, and she's one of the best counselor considered in the state level and in the national level. A simple smile with so much of love and affection, with the acceptance factor. Ramilaka just wins your heart within a very flash of a second, and she will stay there throughout your life. That is one of the biggest assets. And Ramilaka, being with you and just learning each and everything from you is a really pleasant. And on behalf of everybody who are here, let me compliment her and let me welcome Dr. Ramila Shekhar for this great program of psychological well-being and self-care. So her partner today happens to be her own son, our Shekhar Anna's product. And whenever we think that Shekhar Anna means a simple, a special love and affection also adds to it. Avinash, for the first time I'm seeing you, but I'm not hearing for the first time. So every day whenever we sit across the table, first and foremost, the voice of complaint always comes from Shekhar Anna. Enna mage oikla pudupuji, enna mage bhayankara strict woman. So we used to feel very happy telling that there is some person who can take control of Shekhar Anna. And you being here, welcome back Mangalore. And you have started this one, and this is one of the programs, and you have started your community service activity with this kind of series of programs. And wish you all the best for your future, and hearty welcome to you, Dr. Avinash Shekhar, for this program. Today's chief guest, a person of great virtues and many first of its kind, and a very, very, very special friend of mine, and a very, very smart man, and personally one of my closest friend and closest associate, whom I learned and lot on the knowledgeable things in the last 1 year under him when I worked as a cabinet secretary, and I was smiling one, the successful entrepreneur, and a successful governor, and a successful leader, and more than anything else, and a person who is going to be there in your heart forever for all those very simple, very charismatic smile, and the friendship what he lends, the help what he gives, the assistance what he renders, with always a mark of special significance and special excellence. So, Lion Ronald Gomes, MGF, the immediate partnership governor. Nobody can be a better replacement for you as far as chief guest as this person, because last year under your leadership, you have shown how to balance yourself, where your mind was at very, very busy in chalking out, in planning, and executing all those challenging moments along with physical one also. So compliments to you, sir, and on behalf of everybody, hearty welcome to you, sir, also. Our presiding officer, Dr. Juliet, madam, your institution is an icon of mental peace and community service. School of Social Work, Roshan is a very household name, not only in India, in the international level also. Whenever we talk of very positive aspect of mental health or anything as far as social work is concerned, The success of the people who have gone out from your, all those students is an epitome and a great example what your institution stands for. One of the most historical, iconic structure, what we respect. And joining with you is really a rare privilege and honor to us, madam. So on behalf of everybody, hearty welcome to Dr. Juliet C.J. Now, District Governor Geet Prakash is here.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, he's there.
He's there. Dr.
Yes.
Geet Prakash, can you just 1 minute? Doctor,
He's there.
our district governor, you are really an inspiration to us, and the help what you render, the inspiration, support what you give. It is because of this we are conducting this program, sir. Being there in Goa, but you are still that energetic youthfulness that makes you to come here and attending. And once your presence is here, definitely the energy level of this program definitely goes much higher. So hearty welcome to you, sir, and hearty welcome to all the district coordinators of Lions District, Srinath Konde and Lawrence Lobo, all the district chairpersons, Bhageshwari, Maina, Vinata and Keshav Bhatt, our Lions Club President, Krishnanand Pai, if he's here, hearty welcome to you, sir. And a very, very special welcome to our immediate past president of Lions Club Bangalore, the special guest of Avinash and Ramila Shekhar, Shekhar Pujari. Shekhar Anna, thank you very much for being here. And your presence here shows the seriousness of your concern, both on the subject and as far as your family is concerned. So, hearty welcome to you, Shekhar Anna. So, Shivani and Nancy Mascarenas, if you are there, hearty welcome, and all the participants. 100 people are here. And special mention of the hearty welcome to a special bestowing of welcome to Dr. Narendra, former CEO and former chairman and managing director of Indian Overseas Bank. And many programs are going to come of highest value, my dear friends, under the support and the guidance of Dr. Narendra. The next 2 programs has already been fixed, which will be intimated to you later. Just you can't imagine the level of the standard of those speakers. And I'm very, very elated, and I'm very, very happy to tell you that it is going to be there in the first and next 2 or 3 weeks. And just enjoy this moment, and hearty welcome to all the people who are participating here. And it is a matter of great pride to be here. This may be one of its kind, but this surely will not be the last, along with our School of Social Work, Roshni Nilay and Manas Shanti. This series is not 3 programs, and it's going to continue in future also. So, hearty welcome in all the words. Hearty welcome to you all. Thank you very much. Now, introduction of the resource persons by Bhageshwari Shetty.
Hello and good evening, one and all present here. It's my greatest pleasure and honor to introduce such a vibrant and powerful resource persons. Let me start with Dr. Ramila Shekhar. Dr. Ramila Shekhar had her early education at Mangalore and then went on to pursue her studies at Nimhans, Bangalore, served as a professor, HOD and Dean, PG Department of Roshni Nilaya for 34 years. Currently, she is practicing child, adolescent and youth mental health professional at the Manushanti Counseling Training and Research Center, Mangalore, has conducted more than 1,000 programs for students, parents and teachers, and number of various government and corporate sectors on family life, family relationships, child health, mental health, healthy personality, stress management, mental health, first aid, prevention of sexual harassment in different parts of Karnataka and South India. She was conferred the Best Educationist Award by the Global Society for Health and Education Growth, New Delhi in the year 2015, and has also contributed many articles and research papers in various journals, souvenirs, and was involved with research with University of Cornell, USA, with Flinders University, Australia, and thus the list of achievements goes on. And is also appointed as editor for the National Journal of Professional Social Work 2018. Dr. Ramila has presented number of research papers in various local, state, national and international conferences and is the author of books on child and women mental health. She has also been involved to give lectures to students of Volta University, She's also been invited to give lectures to students of Olda University, Norway, and University of Leuven, Belgium. She is also a member of many national and international organizations. Dr. Ramila was appointed second time as a Juvenile Justice Board member of Dakshin Kannada, also appointed as a member of Mental Health Authorities of Karnataka for 2 consecutive terms. At present, she is a member of Prevention of Sexual Harassment Committee of KMC Hospital, Mangalore, the Karnataka Bank, and the Tetrified Software Company. He is also appointed as a member of Ad hoc Body of Sensitization, Prevention, Redressal of Sexual Harassment Committee, SPARSH, Mangalore University, and a member of Internal Complaint Committee to NITK and also the Department of Post Mangalore Division. Dr. Ramila has completed training programs for school teachers and for college students, has been giving radio and TV programs on issues related to women, child health and mental health, not only in India, in Middle East as well. She has been conducting orientation programs for first-year engineering students of various colleges. Since March 2020, due to this pandemic, she has been invited to conduct online training to mental health professionals from all over India. Dr. Ramila is an extraordinary human being whose interest is to work with children, adolescents, women, and family related areas and conducting preventive and promotive programs for children, adolescents, and families striving towards better and progressive society. Happily married to Lions Shekhar Pujari and blessed with 2 children, Dr. Avinash and Akshaya, who is working in Sydney, Australia. This is all about Dr. Ramila. Now, moving on to Dr. Avinash Shekhar. Dr. Avinash, born in a very educated family to Lion Shekhar and Dr. Ramila. Dr. Avinash had his early education in Mangalore, completed his MBBS from KMC Mangalore. During his posting, he found himself being drawn towards psychiatry. He got into DPM in psychiatry from the prestigious Institute of National Importance, NIMHANS. After 2 years of DPM, Dr. Avinash got into the DNB in psychiatry at Masina Hospital, Mumbai. He was again drawn to NIMHANS to pursue his subspecialty at NIMHANS, where he completed his postdoctoral fellowship in neuropsychiatry in July 2020. During these courses, he has presented papers at both national and international conferences. At present, he is practicing as a consultant neuropsychiatrist at Manashanti, Mangalore. Here I present today's resource persons, Dr. Avinash. Thank you and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Bhageshwari Shetty. And definitely you had another very challenging moment of compiling the very 2 big biodatas, especially of Ramilaka. Ramilaka's biodata may run into some of the synopsis or some thesis. Anyway, hearty welcome to and congratulations to both the mother and son duo. And now it is over to the Udupi Arvind Chennai for the introduction of our chief guest, immediate past district governor Lion Ronald Gomes. I don't know, he's laughing from so many times. I don't know who is there in front of him. He rarely smiles. This time, it's first time he's smiling so much.
Hey. Thank you, Chairman Vijay Maya. Kudos to you for organizing a series of programs for the youth. Especially the Youth Parliament was a runaway success, a big feather in the cap of Vijay Maya as well as the Lions District. My compliments to today's resource persons, Dr. Ramila Shekhar, a very sought after faculty in the domestic as well as the international circuit. And for the first time, we are happy to see Dr. Avinash Shekhar speaking on the Lions Forum. We have seen him from the last 20 years growing up, and we are so happy to see him today as a resource person, and I'm sure we'll be seeing much more of him in the coming days. Compliments to our immediate past President Shekhar Pujari, former CMD of Indian Overseas Bank, Dr. M. Narendra, our District Governor Geet Prakash, Lion Moidin Kuni, Sudashane, and all the other faculty as well as the district chairpersons. Coming to our chief guest today, soft-spoken, humble, and ever-smiling person, a thorough gentleman, that's Dr. Gomes. We have affectionately conferred the doctorate on him. Only the friends are authorized to call him as Dr. Gomes. A thorough gentleman that he is, a very popular businessman of the city of Mangalore. Since 1994, he is running the Sunray Solar Systems, which is one of the pioneers in the field. Ronald Gomes joined the Lions Club of Bantwal, then later transferred to the Lions Club of Mangala Devi. He has served as the president of the club and also all the responsibilities in the district, culminating to the biggest responsibility of the district governor of Lions District 317D last year, that is 2019 and 20. Gomes has attended the international conventions of Lions International at Hong Kong, Hawaii, and Milan. For his dedicated work, Dr. Gomes has received almost every prestigious award on the Lions circuit. His leadership acumen came to the fore really in April earlier this year, when he was supposed to conduct and chair the district convention of the district, but due to the lockdown, all the plans went haywire. But it was his responsibility to see that a leader for the coming year was chosen with a due election process. To his credit, for the first time in the history of our district as well as international, Gomes conducted the election simultaneously in 6 different places. And for the first time again, you cannot believe, without a single invalid vote. A fantastic achievement indeed. And this achievement was copied by all the other districts in our multiple as well as all of India. Now, for his wonderful work last year, Dr. Gomes has been elevated to the post of the multiple council vice chairperson and also as the associate director of the Lion India magazine. A multi-talented person that is also a violin player, a talented and gifted pencil and color drawing artist, a part-time film actor, and a regular shuttle badminton player, my mate on the court every day. He is the past president of Rachana, Catholic Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He has served as a member on the board of studies of various colleges and campus selection committees. Ronald Gomes is the loving husband to Anita, a retired manager of Syndicate Bank. He is the proud father of Royan, a computer science engineer, and Roseanne, an architect now working in Australia. And only earlier this week, he has become a proud father-in-law when his daughter, the beautiful and charming Rohan, got married to Kishore Patil of Mumbai. With this very brief introduction, I'm very glad to present today's chief guest, my good friend, our immediate past district governor, Ronald Gomes, to you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Gurpreet. Thank you very much for that wonderful, apt, brief, but very, very impressive, disciplined introduction of Dr. Gomes. And that looks very, very healthy. Anyway, today you are in a very good mood. Your smile is over the 32 teeth. Smile is very much impressive. Anyway, now it is time for to come to the main agenda. Now, mother and son duo, who is going to talk first? Son is going to talk first. That is another nature of mother of sacrificing. So wish you all the best, Avinash Shekhar. And we are very much eager to hear you. And wish you all the best, Ramilaka, for your presentation. Over to you.
Unmute. Unmute. Avinash, unmute.
Avinash, will you do unmute?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. 1 second. Hi. Good evening, everyone. So today our topic is psychological well-being and self-care. We have had some issues where people have not been able to join because right now the participants have been limited to just 100. So if anyone else wants to join, we are also live on YouTube, and the link has been shared in the brochure as such. Okay. There are already people on who have joined on YouTube. Around 40 or 50 people have joined there and are viewing it. And if others are not able to access the Zoom right now because it's full, they can go to YouTube. Okay. So this topic of youth champions, we are making a series of 3 talks as such. The first talk is psychological well-being and self-care. So why are we concentrating on the youth? So India right now has the world's largest youth population. Even though our population is less than China, the youth population that is 10 to 24 years of age is the largest in India. Around 350 million young people are between this age. And as we have all heard, the children are our future, the young people are the future. The reason for this is that developing countries with large youth populations have a potential for a rise in economy. And I'm saying potential. They do not always lead to a rise, but there is a potential. And the potential comes only if there is investment in education, health, and protection of their rights. So these talks will concentrate on health and specifically mental health. So what is health? Health, as per the WHO, it's a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Whereas mental health is a state of well-being in which the individual realizes their own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to their community. So both these definitions, what you can see is there is a holistic picture of health. So we do not just consider disease or any other disorder only as saying that a person is not healthy. A person has to achieve all this. It has to be a whole picture for a person to be called well, healthy, or mentally healthy. Okay. So right now in this first topic, we'll be concentrating on what is known as psychological well-being. So psychological well-being is a state of happiness and satisfaction. And one of the most important causes of impairment of psychological well-being is mental illness. One second. Coming to India, what are the stats right now? So common disorders are seen in around 7 to 10% of people between the age of 13 to 29 years of age. So why this range is there is it's seen that between 13 to 17 years old, the percentage is around 7%. 7% of the young people have common mental disorders. And as the age rises from 17 to 29, it becomes around 10%. What are the common mental disorders is depression, anxiety, common disorders of the adolescents, eating disorders, and other disorders with development, which I will be talking about later. Another thing that is very commonly seen is high rate of self-harm. That is harming yourself intentionally is commonly seen in young people. And that leads to what is completed suicide. Completed suicide has become the most common cause of death in the age group of 15 to 29. And this is in both male and female genders in the rates of ages of 15 to 29. And compared to other age groups, suicide is at a higher rate than others. Other important thing is substance use. Substance use is also high in this population, with tobacco being the highest in form of smoking and other ways of vape and other non-smoking items. But what is important here is the burden from illicit substance use is also highest among young adults. That is the age from 15 to 29 years. So as you can see, this age group has a lot of issues happening, and we need to concentrate on these issues to lead to a better life so that they can contribute to the country. So I'll be talking about the common mental health disorders first. So one of the most common disorders is depression, or as what we call it, major depressive disorder. So what is seen is it commonly peaks in adolescence, and up to around the late 20s, there's a peak. And after that, it reduces. This doesn't mean that it's not seen. It is seen, but the peak is between this age. And what is seen is it's more common in the female gender. So now what is depression? Depression has become a colloquial term right now. Everyone says that, oh, I am depressed, I am sad. It's not that. It's not just sadness. What is important is that it's a pervasive depressed mood. That is, it's present for most days. It's present for daily for at least 2 weeks. Then we call it as a major depressive disorder. There are two important features of it. One is this mood state, which is depressed, and another which is anhedonia. Anhedonia is a lack of pleasure or a loss of interest in activities. So a person comes to us with depression. They also say that previously I used to read books. Now I'm not able to. I don't have any interest in reading them. I used to watch TV. Now I don't feel like watching TV at all. And these two symptoms are very characteristics of depression. So what you will see in depressed people is there's a withdrawal. If they are in your peer circle, what you'll see is sudden withdrawal from all these activities that they used to be active in. Other feature that is there is a low energy or reduced energy. So they often complain of being fatigued all the time, feeling lethargic, and there is a psychomotor reduction in their activities. So what I mean is even their mind and their body become slow. Their thoughts feel slow, their movements feel slow. Other important feature is feelings of worthlessness and guilt. And this guilt is not appropriate. It's an inappropriate guilt. They feel guilty for small things. They feel guilty for things that are not even related to them. And sometimes, often, there, along with this worthlessness, comes a feature of helplessness, where they feel that no one is able to help me anymore. This is what my life is. And then that leads to hopelessness, that there's no hope for me in the future. There's no use in me living is the next thought that comes. So thoughts of death comes, which is where they start thinking, okay, it would be good if I die. Why am I living? And that can transform into suicidal thoughts. That is planning. Like, okay, now I want to kill myself. How do I kill myself? Thinking about that. So all these thoughts preoccupy their mind. Along with this, what is seen is sleep and appetite changes. And I'm saying changes. It's because what is a common misconception is once a person is depressed, their appetite and sleep is reduced. But it's not always that way. Sometimes it can be increased also. Because of the fatigue and because of the low energy, there is sometimes increased sleep in order to feel better. And even appetite, there can be increased hunger in this type of mood. Now, coming to the youth, what is unique is that what studies have shown is that there's often irritability, hostility, which is seen in teenagers, and a lot of somatic complaints. Somatic complaints are basically vague physical symptoms because of all these feelings inside them. So there's a vague body ache, there's headache. So these complaints are common, and this is what is seen in depression. coming to the management of depression. So the management of depression depends on the severity. So we categorize it as mild, moderate, and severe, depending on how many of these symptoms are there. So when it's mild depression, usually the treatment is psychological only, and there's no medication given. So usually a type of therapy is used. When it comes to moderate and severe, often therapy and medications have good use in it. And usually people prefer a combination of these two. There are other mood disorders also. There is something known as bipolar affective disorder, where along with depression, you have the opposite of it, which is mania, where there's a mood of excitement, there's a high energy, there's over familiarity, over talking, sleep as such, there's a decreased need for sleep, there's inappropriate behavior, there's disinhibition. All this is there. So when you have mania and when you have depression in different episodes, you have something known as bipolar affective disorder. You also have things like hypomania and persistent depressive disorder and recurrent depressive disorder, but these are not as common. The next, one of the most common disorders around is a group of anxiety disorders. Even this is commonly seen between the ages of 15 and 35. So there are different types of anxiety disorder. One is phobic anxiety and the one is the other type of anxiety disorders. And the most common one seen is what is known as the generalized anxiety disorder. So in generalized anxiety disorder, there's a free-floating anxiety. That's a very typical word that we use. So a patient comes to us saying that they're always worried. So a student says that he's always worried about his studies. But it's not just that, it's multiple areas. So a student in classroom is worried about what is happening in his classroom, what is how he's supposed to behave with his fellow friends, how he's supposed to do well in his academics. He's not able to pay attention. Oh no, why am I not able to pay attention? So such multiple thoughts keep happening, and they find it difficulty to manage this worry. There's worry about day-to-day activities like, okay, now I have to go home. How do I go home? When I go home, will there be anything? How will I interact with others? So a lot of thoughts come to them. And associated with this, there is physical symptoms. One is you have autonomic symptoms like increased heart rate, you will have sweating, you will have different types of tremors. You will have also like symptoms associated with breathing. So they'll have a choking feeling, they'll have difficulty breathing, they'll have even symptoms associated with the abdomen, such as nausea, feeling like vomiting. So all these symptoms they feel, and this is constantly there. So the next type of anxiety disorder is something known as a panic disorder. Most of y'all would have heard of panic attacks. So panic attack is there is an episode of intense fear and apprehension, which comes with characteristic symptoms. That is increased heart rate, feeling of breathlessness, feeling of unreality. So they suddenly feel that something is not correct, something is not happening. There's no connection between them and the surroundings, or there's no connection between them and their body. And also one very common thought that happens is a thought of impending doom. That is, they have a fear that they are about to die right now, or something bad is about to happen right now. So this all is seen in panic disorders, and these can occur at any time. There need not be any trigger for them. They can occur at any time. Then comes the different phobias. One of the phobias which are put as with or without agoraphobia is because it's commonly associated with panic disorder. So agoraphobia, people who have answered the pre-test have answered it right. So agoraphobia is a fear of being in a situation where you feel you cannot escape. It initially came up from the phobias of open places, or basically in marketplaces. But now we have categorized this as such. So patient or a person feels trapped, like they are not able to escape from this. This usually happens when there are a lot of people around. So they're not able to deal with this situation, and they again have anxiety and the symptoms that I have told. One of the very common disorders that are now coming up in young adults is social anxiety disorder. So social anxiety disorder is a type of anxiety disorder where a person doesn't want to leave outside and interact with anyone in a social setting. And this is not just shyness as what people think. So there is a scale of shyness, and this is on the other end. So what happens is a patient comes to us and says that I am not able to leave my house. I need to do, they often have different jobs or something, and that time they come to us and they say that I am not able to leave the house. I cannot deal with anyone. Whenever I go outside, they have what is known as a fear of scrutiny. So they have a fear of what will other people tell about me? What will other people see in me? So they have a fear that they will talk something wrong. They will always say something negative. They always have this fear. So this type of thinking leads to something known as social anxiety. So, and then you have specific phobias. Why I have talked about phobias is there are various phobias. There's fear of heights, there's fear of snakes, fear of water, etc. But why it's important in young adults is there is something known as examination phobia. And this is a very common thing that we see in our clinics. So, and this is not just restricted to or people studying in SSLC or PUC. This happens in people who are doing undergraduation and post-graduation also. So usually it can be in people afraid of failure, but it can also be seen in people who are achieving high and they feel that they're not able to achieve that high level again. So suppose in our clinic, a person has come who is doing their degree, and he reports that when he was doing it in the first year, he did pretty well. And once he did that, next there was a pressure on him. There was an expectation by the others, and that brought about a lot of anxiety that in the next year he has to do the same or he has to go higher. He has to be higher than what it was previous. So that type of exam phobia is there. And this phobia usually happens just before the exams. This type of anxiety prevents them from studying also, because they're always obsessed with this. Like they will have difficulty concentrating. So whatever they read, they will not be able to think, because they're like, I'm not able to concentrate. I'm not able to read. I will not achieve that. So these constant thoughts happen to them. So these are the common anxiety disorders that I want to talk about in youth. So the management for all of this is very common. Usually in mild, it is just psychological, but most often what is the best treatment is a combined treatment of psychological treatment, that's therapy and medications. So these both have to be there. Whereas when I said depression, sometimes people get better with either. Whereas in anxiety, it's usually both has to be there. So medications plus therapies like CBT or relaxation or mindfulness, this often helps in that. Another disorder which I wanted to talk about, because we're dealing with young adults and adolescents, is eating disorders. This is a disorder which is becoming more prominent and which is commonly seen in that age group. Otherwise, it's not a commonly talked about disorder when we talk about mental health. It has become so much of an epidemic that in the UK, they have started allotting beds to this, because you require a lot of hospitalization and both therapy and medication. So why has this started? So nowadays the culture, or at least in the last 20 years, there has been a culture of obsession with your image as such. So there's a body image of fitness, body image of being thin. So that type of mental health has come. And often what is seen is even peers or even family, they often keep talking about weight. So what is seen is there's an unhealthy obsession with weight. And what happens is, even when their weight is normal, they feel, because of these thoughts, that their weight is not correct and their weight is on the heavier side. So there develops an unrealistic perception of the current. So what happens is they do avoidant behavior, that is they avoid food or they restrict food. There's calorie counting to an extreme level. Again, all these we are dealing with this extreme. There's fasting, there's different amounts of behavior where a person eats and then has to vomit because of this fear of gaining weight. And this leads to a very low unhealthy body weight. So what we see in the medical field, we call it as a body mass index of 17.5 is on the lower end. And usually this will be lower than that. And what this leads to is a lot of malnourishment. So a lot of nutritional deficiencies are there. So they develop anemia, they developed a lot of nutritional deficiencies lead to hair problems, skin problems. They have even problems with menstruation where there's a lot of amenorrhea happening. So this is a significant disorder which is commonly seen nowadays. Other one is bulimia nervosa. So bulimia nervosa is it's similar to anorexia nervosa. There is a lot of similar psychological concepts, but what is seen is there's recurrent binge eating. So there is a large amount of food being eaten in a short time, and then this is followed by compensatory behavior, and that is usually vomiting, purging, eating drugs which are which are supposed to cause weight gain, which have a lot of side effects. They use sometimes unhealthy things like tapeworms to lose weight. So there's a lot of this type of behavior. Another disorder which has been recently seen is binge eating disorder. This is more as the adult age starts. So there's frequent and recurrent binge eating, and this often leads to obesity. And what is seen is there's a lot of usually a negative depressive thoughts. There's a negative self-worth which is seen, and to compensate for this, people usually eat and feel better. But once they eat this, then they feel an immense amount of shame. Again, that increases the depressive figure. So there's a whole cycle. So management of this is usually, in case of anorexia nervosa and bulimia where it's severe, it does require hospital management, and not just psychiatric management, but it requires a multimodal treatment. So you need to involve physicians, you need to involve endocrine specialists, you need to involve the OBGYNs. So a holistic approach is needed for these disorders. Now I want to talk about self-harm and suicide. So coming to self-harm and suicide, one of the most common misconceptions which was there in the pretest, and I'm happy that about 300 out of the 330 people who answered the pretest, a majority of them identified the false statement and said that yes, the false statement is that suicide is always associated with mental illness. It's not. Suicide is not always a mental illness. Suicide can also be due to social problems. They can be impulsive also. If you see the newspapers, you will understand this. You often hear of farmer suicides, you hear of student suicide, you hear of basically just something happens and then there's a suicide. There need not always be a mental illness too. So it's not just a mental illness, it's not just mental illness. It's a social problem. There are a lot of social aspects that happen around it. And in the youth, it is very common, as I had given the stats previously. Why is this common? Youth or adolescents and young adults, this is a period of transition for them. And not just in age, it's a period where they're developing their sexuality. Some are discovering their gender. Some are dealing with their peers, making what is known as the new family of friends around them. Dealing with academics, dealing with how your future is going to be and what you are going to be in the next 10 years. So all this happens during this time. So it's a period of transitions. And there are high expectations, usually from parents, from surrounding peers who are successful. And there is, at the same time, there is a challenge of building their own identity. They want to be themselves. And these two things clash, and this often leads to self-harm. In gender, one of the other pre-test questions was completed suicide is more common in males than females. So why this is a true statement is that self-harm or the act of intentionally harming yourself is common in the female gender, but when it comes to completed suicide, the male gender is more common. But these are the current stats, and this does not mean that self-harm is not significant. Self-harm is significant. There's a recent study that came out, I think, in the last week only, which showed that in India, there is an underreporting of suicide. And they said, I think around 25 to 30% of the male suicides are underreported, and up to 50% of the female suicides have been underreported. So this might lead to some change in the stats. What are the risk factors that we see? We see it commonly in older adolescents. We see it commonly in non-Abrahamic religions like Hinduism, where suicide is not considered a mortal sin as such. And it depends on work, unemployment, etc. leads to high amounts of rates of suicide. Others which we see commonly in the youth is academics. As you always know, pressure to not just not fail, but pressure to achieve higher and higher. The new NEET, PG, the clash between the state syllabus and what is expected for the all India exams, all that leads to a lot of stress. There are family factors that happen, relationships where there's love breakups, there's other, even friendship, all that issues lead to self-harm and suicide. There's a fear of punishment. So some adolescents have, when their parents say that, okay, if you get so much, then I'm going to punish you. And when they get that marks or so, then those thoughts come in, and that has often led to self-harm and suicide in order to avoid the punishment. Social conflict like gender issues, sexuality, being bullied, and other physical comorbidities. And why I said self-harm is not something that should be seen as not important compared to suicide is that the most important risk factor for completed suicide is previous self. So that is a very important thing to be seen. And suicide, how do you deal with self-harm and suicide is complete evaluation. We have to see what are the issues and try to solve the issues. Usually therapy and medications is used. But as I said, it's a social problem. So in some cases, this is not just required. You need to transform their environment to then I'll just talk about a little about disorders in adolescents. So these are some of the common disorders. One is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, where you would have heard of this, where children, it's a disorder characterized by inattention, impulsivity, and hyperactivity. So a child is unable to pay attention in class, is unable to focus on anything, keeps getting themselves distracted, looks outside, impulsivity. There's often a feeling like, okay, I have to do it right now only. So standing in lines, doing any organized sports, they are unable to do that. They have to do something right now and they'll do it. And there's often an impulsive actions are there. Suddenly they will do something and they will say, I just felt like doing it. And there's hyperactivity. There's inability to sit in one position. There's a lot of restlessness that happens. So this contributes a lot to learning disorders. In the recent years, it's being identified, but previously a lot of what we called as a mischievous children in classrooms, they usually belong to this disorder. They are unable to pay attention in the class, so they behave this way, and they direct their energy that way. So now this is being diagnosed. Then there's learning disorders, which you must have, it's commonly come right now after the Tare Zameen Pe and all that. It's become very common. So dyslexia, dyscalculia, and different disorders of scholastic skills. And the important disorder is conduct disorder. So here there's an dissocial behavior, aggressive behavior, and defiant behavior. So there can be cruelty to animals and to other people, breaking of laws which are kind of serious and amounting to sometimes like fire setting, arson as such. So this is a very significant disorder because these children need care. And I don't need medication. I mean, psychological therapy is a very important thing. Because a lot of you must have heard of personality disorders which develop in adults. So conduct disorder is often associated with antisocial personality disorder. And this is something that is commonly seen people who commit crimes as such. So not always, but in most cases. So conduct disorder, if it's seen and if it's taken care of earlier, this leads to prevention of that and will lead to a better youth life as such. Management for most of these at a milder stage and at the first step is usually therapy. In learning disorder, it is different remedial lessons where you bypass the disorders and see how they do. Coming to the topic, which is psychological well-being. So for this topic, I was asked to speak about mental health disorders. So that's why I talked about all these common mental health disorders in adults, adolescents and young adults. But psychological well-being as such, as you had seen in the definitions initially, it is not just an absence of all these disorders. There is happiness and satisfaction with life. This is known as psychological well-being. And what is important in that is these 6 factors. And why I'm talking about it in adults and young adults and adolescents is because these factors are often not in their control. So one is autonomy. That is the freedom to be yourself, the freedom to resist social pressures, and the freedom to rebel as such. And this is not that much allowed in young adults and adolescents. Parent control is usually overbearing. You don't let them go what they're interested in. So that also leads to, if autonomy is not given, that also leads to impairment in psychological well-being. Other is environmental control. That is the ability to modify your environment to your suiting. So to create opportunities for yourself, how do you manipulate that? How do you create those? That all comes under environmental control. Then there's personal growth. A person must feel in their life that they are growing, not just financially or academically, but also personally. They must feel that their behavior is improving. If there is a stagnation in their personal growth as such, then that usually leads to impairment in psychological well-being. Other thing is positive relationships with others, healthy relationship, friendship, love, etc. Then purpose in life. Everyone needs goals or dreams as such. And without this purpose in life, that also harms your psychological well-being. And the most important thing is self-acceptance. That is accepting that you are good for what you are, accepting who you are and what you can, realizing your potential. All this comes under self-acceptance. So this is the whole picture of psychological well-being. Now, about how to develop this, how to take care of this, and self-care aspects, I will be handing over to Dr. Ramila Shekhar to talk.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I think after this session on psychological well-being, what are the issues related to psychological well-being, I'll just go to what is well-being at all, because I think that is many a times we have a doubt about this. Actually, well-being is nothing but experiencing happiness, experiencing prosperity. It includes good mental health, positive life satisfaction, meaning or a purpose in life, and ability to manage stress. So just if you take up what is well-being, it is just feeling nice. Unfortunately, as mental health professionals, we are all seeing that well-being is on decline. And that is why we thought increasing one's well-being can be tough without knowing what to do with it, how to do it. Because that's a question that we are often asked in our clinical setting. Ma'am, what to do? I'm feeling very sad. I'm feeling down. What we can do? And it's not people who have disorder. It is normal people who come and ask us this. You know, I don't feel like working. I don't feel like getting up in the morning. What do I do? So this is something that we have got to think of. So what is the components of well-being? I'm just going because Dr. Avinash has already spoken about it. Emotional well-being, where I am able to manage my own feelings. When I say feelings, both positive and negative feelings, okay, where I'm able to manage positive and negative feelings, when I'm able to manage, my ups and downs of life. Psychological well-being, which refers to internal and external factors, Okay, the levels of positive functioning, internal, how am I able to manage? What is my attitude? Okay, external, what is my attitude towards others? Social well-being is something that Dr. Avinash spoke. How do I maintain social connectedness? And especially in today's time, the COVID-19 scenario, this is a very important aspect. You know, the connectedness that we have been losing. So how am I maintaining the connectedness in spite of the fact that I can't go out? What is my contribution to the society? How well do I integrate with the society? How do I manage the norms and the values of the society? All these are components of well-being. Okay, so now if I can ask the youngsters, okay, how do I improve psychological well-being? Why do I improve psychological well-being? I think I'm going to start from the need for all of us to pay attention to what we are doing. If I'm able to pay attention, my learning will be good. If I learn well, my confidence will be high. If I have confidence, I will be able to build relationship with others. If all this is okay, my performance level automatically goes up. And if I am able to do well in whatever I am doing well, it has an impact on my physical and social health. Now, simple examples. We don't always get severe psychiatric disorders. What we get is we get simple headaches. Just the other day, I had this young boy who was referred to me by a dentist because every night he gets up screaming, saying that he has severe pain in his jaws. And the dentist was able to tell me that there was nothing wrong with him physically. So this sort of impact on the physical self, impact on the social health, which Dr. Avinash spoke about. I am scared to talk to people. I got a job. I had this young girl who came to me saying, I got a job as a receptionist in a hotel. And that's the job, ma'am. I wanted it from so long. But now I feel scared. When I see a person entering the front door, I have anxiety pangs. So all this, affects the psychological, physical, and social well-being. If I am, able to pay attention, I am confident of myself, my physical health is over. When there are difficult situations, I am able to manage. Like, for example, this is a difficult situation. COVID-19 is a difficult situation. I know of so many youngsters who have come to us saying that they do not have jobs. The UGC faculty are employed, but there are so many non-government faculties of schools who have lost their job. This is a very difficult situation that they're going through, and they are able to manage this if their psychological well-being is good. Okay, and in turn, it reduces stress. So now how do we improve? I'm just going to go about very fast. The one and the most important thing is have a positive self-concept. And when I say positive self-concept, you have to be happy with yourself. You have to love yourself. Like, that's why I took this small writing. Talk to yourself like you would talk to someone you love. Okay, know yourself, know your positives, know your negatives, and be happy with your positives. I see so many people are so shy even to take compliments. When somebody gives them compliment, they don't know what to do. That's because they are not happy. They are not able to accept their positives. You're good in something, thank you. That's what you should do. Okay, and if also know your negatives. Some of the negatives can be corrected. Some of the negatives cannot be corrected. Like, for example, a physical negative, you're fat. I think Dr. Avinash spoke about body image, which is very, very important nowadays by the youngsters. Okay, I am fat, I am thin, I am short. All can't be Aishwarya Rai. All can't be Akshay Khanna, whoever it is. So I have to accept myself, whatever I am. That is accepting. But there are some negatives which I can correct. Like, I have a lot of people coming to me saying, ma'am, I am short-tempered. I get angry very fast. Now, this is not a negative quality that you are born with. You have developed it. You have either learned it. So then that is something that you can correct. So this is something that will help you when you know yourself. Second, accept yourself. Yes, there are some negatives which I can't change. That's me. Don't compare yourself with others. Okay, I think I know there are some adults also amongst us, like there is often a tendency in all of us to compare ourselves with compare our children with others, and then in turn they compare themselves with others. And for the youngsters with who are here watching this Zoom as well as YouTube, I want to tell you all, don't compare. You can't be another person and that person can't be you. Believe in yourself. I think again, Dr. Avinash spoke about exam phobia. Why does that exam phobia come? we have so many students coming and saying, I think I can't. We have a professional students who come to us and say, ma'am, I finished everything. I finished one revision, but I have a feeling that something is going to go wrong. Start believing in yourself. Start believing in your skill of studying. And most important, give a nice pat to yourself, which we don't do. We are very good at patting at others. We are very good at complimenting others. Once in a way, sit down and compliment yourself. Sit down and reinforce yourself. Good, you were good today. Don't look at what was wrong that time. I went on the stage and spoke and I made 2 mistakes, but the whole half an hour, you spoke very well. Can I recognize that? And can I pat myself for talking well? Yes, mistakes I did. I learned my mistake. Like for example, today, we did a mistake we didn't know about the Zoom meeting of the number is 100. That's a mistake that I have done. We did a mistake and I'm feeling bad about it, but I'm not going to restrict myself. And immediately what I did is I sent a message to everybody saying, join on YouTube. And I know the number might be less because of that, but still, that's a mistake. I learned from the mistake. I know now what to do next. Okay, but I need to reinforce also when I do something nice. That is something that is very important. Second, realistic evaluation of situations. Very, very important. We have a tendency to expect perfection. I'm sure for the adults here, okay, we were very happy when we got 60%, when we got 70% in our exams, including, I remember even my children, Avinash and Akshaya, when they had that time it was distinction and they had a gold line on their marks card. That itself was great. But now I have students getting 92% and coming and telling me, I expected 98 and I don't want to live. Don't expect perfection in everything. You do your best, not the best. Okay, live in the present, which is very important aspect of evaluation. Okay, most of our present is spoiled because we are in yesterday or we are in tomorrow. We are either in the past or we are in the future. We worry about the past. Why did principal tell us something yesterday? Why did she call only me? Why did madam only point out to me? And then I am scared about, will she catch me tomorrow? And in the process, I spoil my today. That is what happens every time. Okay. Now, I told you all, don't think about negatively when there are exams. Don't think negatively when you're doing something. Yes, we do get it. We do get it. I'm not saying it doesn't come. It comes to us also. But what do? I have to reframe my negative thoughts. And that is what we professionals call it as cognitive behavior therapy. We change the cognition. We change the thoughts that are there. We help individuals to change the thoughts. Like, for example, that example of that girl who's doing her professional course, who comes to me and says, I think I won't do well. I just sat with her and asked her, tell me how many chapters you have. I have so many chapters. Now mark against each of the chapters, what is your level of performance? She said, maybe 70% I have finished fully. About 10% I have finished partially. Only 20% I have yet to finish. So then I said, now look at it. If somebody had told you this, what would you have told? Then she said, I would have told them, when you have finished 70%, you'll definitely get at least 50%. You can tell others, why not tell yourself? Now this is, so I started telling her to reframe her own negative thoughts and say, if I have studied, how will I fail? If I have studied, how can I forget? And that helps them to move forward. And most important, especially for our students, especially for my IT friends, something that I want to tell you all is, please discriminate between work and fun. And this is a big issue that mental health professionals are facing, the work-life balance. We are not able to separate. And now because of COVID and the work from home, we have a lot of these issues. Just today, I had one of the companies from Bangalore asking me to talk on this aspect because they are getting stuck with the work, because now it is work from home has become almost 20 hours of work from home. Where do I draw my line? I don't have time even to sit up and enjoy myself. Please start doing that. Don't bring in your work to the house. Don't take the house to the work. And please start enjoying small activities, which I'm going to talk about later. Okay. Realistic view of the situation. Persons with psychological well-being will have a sense of focus. I think again, Dr. Avinash spoke about what can be done. Don't focus on what can't be done. The problem with all of us is we focus on what can't be done. You know, like even again, I'm giving you the example of COVID because I'm working so much in that particular area. I am giving you the example of COVID. What usually happens is, you know, people are so worried. Why has the vaccine not come? Why has this not come? How can that happen? Now, is that in my control? No. Then why am I bothered? Why am I worried about that? What should I be worried? I should be worried, how can I protect myself? That is the focus of what can be done. Instead of focusing on what we can do, we focus what is beyond our control and make ourselves even more anxious. Have a positive outlook. See the better side of the life in spite of difficulties, which is very important. Because if anybody tells us that they have no difficulties at all, I don't think it's true. We do have difficulties. Can we see the better side of it? Like, for example, when I meet people, individuals who come because of feeling bad, because of the present situation, okay, there is many a times what I do is I tell them to just sit down and think what was good. And I had a young lady who was saying, I'm fed up, ma'am. I can't go out. I can't do that. I can't do that. So I said, just sit down for a moment, forget all that you can't do and tell me what are the nice things that happened from March. And one of the things that she told me was, yes, my husband has started coming earlier at home. So I said, isn't that a good thing? Isn't that a positive thing? Yes, we spend more time at home. Isn't that something? Yes, ma'am. Now I have time for my hobby, that is gardening. Yes. Now, this is what I am trying to say. See the better side of the life in spite of difficulties. And most often, I want to tell for the youngsters who are here, avoid self-harming activities. Because I see we get a lot of addiction, which we are going to talk about in the next week, because of frustrations. I started drinking because I failed. I started drinking, I started taking something because of something else. There are other factors. We are going to talk about that. But most of the time, this is something that, you know, usually happens. Next, manage your emotions, which is very, very important. Psychological well-being is emotional well-being. So what is emotional well-being? What is emotional management? Know my emotions. Know what I'm going through. You know, many are times when, you know, persons with emotional upsets come down, I just sit and make them sit down and tell them, tell me what is happening to you. Tell me what is happening. What is the feeling that you're going through? What is happening to you? Where do you feel it? You know, where do you feel it? And that's where they start telling, yes, I'm feeling it in my chest. I feel, some suffocation in my chest. And I tell them to experience because they need to know the emotions. And next, Once you know your emotions, regulate your emotions. Don't let the emotions control you. Instead, we should be able to control the emotions. Because I have a lot of youngsters, I have a lot of people, elders also coming and telling me, ma'am, I lost my temper. What do we mean by lost my temper? Ma'am, I couldn't help it. I just raised my hand. What do you mean by it? You're saying that your hand is not under your control? What are you trying to tell me? No. If it is under your control, then you should have the reins to your emotions. Don't let the emotions have the reins. You know, this is in a simple local language. I always tell when I go for talks, I tell, you know, kudreya lagamu, who is driving avara jote irbeku, not with the, you know, that the horse. If you give the lagam to the horse or you give the reins to the horse, the cart will go anywhere else. And that's exactly what happens. So you have to be able to regulate yourself. You have to meet frustrations without violence. You have to meet frustration, disappointment without destruction to self and others. And that means when there is a stress, I need to know, need to manage my stress. And that is why we have a lot of these modules that we are, helping individuals to work out. Anger management modules, stress management modules, especially with youngsters, we do a lot of anger management modules because they feel it is not controllable. And another thing, when we are talking about emotions, what I want to tell you is recognize the emotions. Know what you're going through, identify the emotions, express them freely, okay? Recognize how they affect you and take responsibility of your emotions. Don't give the responsibility to somebody else. She said that, and that is why I, did this. No, I did it because I felt like this. So once you take responsibility for your emotions, you are able to maneuver the emotions in the manner that is appropriate. None of us are asking you to control your emotions. We are talking, please listen, we are talking about management of emotions because controlling will lead to disaster. That is something that is very important. The next is manage relationships. He spoke about social connectedness. We're talking about managing relationship. Be an effective communicator. Know how to speak to people. Be able to build positive ties with others. Mutual respect for others. Okay? Build, maintain, and cherish relationship. It's very easy to maintain, especially for the youngsters now. With all your social media, it's very easy to maintain the relationship. How many of us, I'm sorry, it's very easy to build the relationship. How many of us maintain it? How many of us really nurture our emotions? How many of us respect the people that are around us? I mean, this is a simple exercise that you can do when you're going out somewhere. Just stand somewhere and just observe people. You will know how they are connected to people. People have lost the skill of smiling to each other. People have lost the skill because we are so much connected to only the mobile. So I think this is very important that we are able to build connectedness. And why build connectedness without anxiety? Something that Dr. Avinash spoke about. Okay, say hello to people, meet people, go out to people. It's okay if they don't respond back to you. What will I lose? Nothing. But I will take a first step to meet people and say hello to people instead of shrinking in my shell. And please remember, this is a very important aspect of, social support. Because if you are connected well, when you have an issue, when you have a problem, you will always have a backrest there. Now, these are how you can build up your psychological well-being. So as youth champions, how do you take care of yourself? I know, especially social service clubs, and there are a lot of people, we have been always told to do things for people. I am not denying that. But at the same time, also remember, If you are able to take care of yourself, you are able to take care of others. So how do you take care of yourself? Develop a habit of positive beliefs. Look every day, sit down for 5 minutes and go through all the nice things that we have done and feel happy about it. And then you'll sleep well. Learn to relax. Now people are not able to relax. And that is why we have to teach them meditation. We have to teach them, what is that, mindfulness therapy. All those things have to be taught because they are not able to relax. They are not able to be in the present. And very important, enjoy the small things of every day. Don't wait for a huge thing to happen to make you happy. It doesn't have to be a lottery that I get to make me happy, but I can be happy if I see somebody smiling at me. I can be happy if I hear somebody say a nice word for me. Instead of that, the moment somebody compliments you, our mind starts working saying, why is the person complimenting? There must be some reason for that. So I become very cautious. So can I enjoy the day-to-day occurrences? What is happening in and around me? And most important, don't bottle up. Because I think we have a very, very, standard belief amongst all of us that if I tell my problem to others, what will they think? But remember, sharing helps us to lighten ourselves and take help when needed. Whenever you need help, take help. For students here, all your colleges, I'm talking about Roshnilai specifically, you have your own teachers to help you. And I know you have your teachers who are trained in counseling. You have your own counseling center. Please take help. It doesn't have to be a psychiatric disorder to take help. It can be just guidance. Please take help. And that will help you to understand what you're doing. I have some students just coming and saying, ma'am, I don't know, I have been upset about something. What do I do? It's okay. And that is where I often tell them, and I would want each of us to remember this last sentence. It is not weakness to recognize a problem. It is your strength. Because we think if I have a problem and I go and tell somebody about the problem, I am weak. No. If you have realized that you have an issue and you are able to take help for the issue, it is your strength. And be proud of yourself that you are able to understand it before the problem becomes maximized. This is something that is very important for yourself. Now, what can you do to others? Because y'all are youth champions. Y'all are the ones who have to help us to build a better society. What can you do? Build awareness. And this is one of the ways of building awareness. You have been able to build awareness by learning. Now, don't sit quietly after hearing. There are about 100 people here. There are about 50 people in the YouTube. Don't sit quietly. Share what you have learned today with at least 2 people. And that gives a ripple effect, So that is very important. Build awareness. You are aware, build awareness in others. Okay. Lend a listening ear. I think that is something that is the most non-available commodity at present. Children keep coming and telling us, there's nobody to listen at home. My mommy is busy. My father is busy. My teachers are busy. Nobody is listening. And now with this, online classes, it's even more worse. They don't even have their friends to be, share. I know how it is now. But can you as a, youth champion lend your ear to somebody else? Can you also help others to achieve? I know it's very important for you to achieve. But can we think of helping others? I achieve, I do well in my exams. And if there is a classmate of mine who cannot do as well as mine, there is some other problem in that individual. Can I recognize and help that person to come up? From the 35, can I help that person to come to 50? But I am scared. Something that I'm seeing among the students now, there is no sharing. So I think that is something that I would want you all to do, help others to achieve, because you will realize that you'll get a lot of satisfaction and a lot of happiness. Give a lot of positive reinforcement to people. Pat them on their back. You see one of your classmates who is a very shy person going up on the stage during the seminar, during the assembly, saying something. When she comes down, give her a nice pat on her back and say, that was great. I am happy for you. She will feel better. She will go another day. Instead of that, if she makes a mistake, we start smiling, and that will make her feel even more worst. Okay? Social support. Give social support, provide social support, help your teachers to provide social support. I know that is available in all your colleges. And with whatever little talk that Dr. Avinash has given you, can you identify some of these issues that he spoke about? That doesn't mean tomorrow if you see a person who is sitting quietly, don't go and diagnose the person as having depression. Leave that diagnosis for the professionals. But can you go and find out, I see you feeling sad, what's happening? And maybe the person will tell you, go and meet the your own teacher, go and meet the counselor in your school, go and meet the student welfare officer in your school, and tell them, see, this is what is happening to this student. Ma'am, I think she needs your help. Sir, I think she needs your help. That is identification, not labeling them. I think I heard Dr. Avinash talk about anxiety. I think you've got anxiety. That's not our work. Your work is to be able to connect. And in case you are not able to help out, please do the referral. Please do the referral to the mental health professionals who are available in your own place. I think I have finished. So I wanted to just tell you that this whole session on helping you to understand about the various psychological disorders, helping you to understand what is psychological well-being, helping you to understand how to improve psychological well-being, what you can do for yourself and what you can do to others is a small contribution to making you all real youth leaders. And I think that is what our Lion Vishnu Maya wants to achieve. And I'm sure you all will be able to achieve, because we are not going to stop with psychological well-being. We are going into other areas like maybe addiction, maybe self-harm, maybe, harassment. So all these issues we are going to bring in and speak about it so that you are equipped with knowledge and you will be able to pass the knowledge. I take this opportunity to thank Maya and also thank Roshnilaya College for this great opportunity for both of us. It's a real pleasure, because something that we know, we are sharing with you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello, ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಉಂಟಾ?
Yes.
Am I audible? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you forgot to thank one person, Ramilaka. You forgot to thank Avinash and Ramila Shekhar. Thanked everybody. It is a very great combination, a son who looks into this mental problem from the view of a doctor, and that disorder, that various aspect of it, and definitely that channelizing it and listing it out and how it happens, the characteristics and knowledge sharing exercise. And a mother here who just connects that personality development into this and just tell that, it is all within us how we need to take care of it. Ramilaka might have done thousands and thousands of these kind of things, but every time we do this, every time we hear, we feel that we are refreshed by that magnanimity of your speeches, connecting, and more than anything else, your emotions. Like whatever you say, you have gone through that. You have simply gone through that, and it is not only your vocabulary capacity, but it is your experience of being there and being a part of that solution, for that mental solution, that makes you more of a very vibrant one. The excellent session, and in cricket, what we see is that it is a good, excellent opening partnership, and surely, I think this is the first time that you people, both of them are doing it, or have you done it before, Amilaka? You unmute this one.
We have done it for Roshnilaya before also.
Okay, okay. Now for Lions 1, you are doing it for the first time.
Yes.
Okay, anyway, that's a good partnership and you have continued it and hopefully this will be a true excellent jodi of mental health, not only of Mangalore, Karnataka, but India and even the international level. Thank you, Dr. Avinash Shekhar, and thank you, Ramila Shekhar, for this wonderful session. And the one of the most pleasant things that what changes you have made is that Shekhar and I was smiling all the time during your session. So that is one of those very rare change what we can make. Now, I would like to recognize the presence of our District Governor, Dr. Deep Prakash sir, and I think he's traveling from Goa. He's on his car. Sir, hearty welcome to you. And it is indeed a great pleasure to have your presence here. And thank you very much for your this one. Okay. Now, ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ತೆಗಿಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೌದಾ ask to unmute.
Yes, thank you, Mayaji, for that. I was watching and hearing throughout the session, and since there was a problem with the net, I could not reciprocate in the initial session. But still, we all enjoy the Ramila Shekhar's family's deal with the youth in every aspect. And I congratulate the Madam Ramila Shekhar and the young Avinash Shekhar for the excellent session. Thank you, Mayaji. And moreover, I want to make a mention here, as I'm fresh from the multiple council meeting, and here is one district which has already started a program for youth, and they have made a special mention of our youth parliament and the ongoing sessions. And I was extremely happy to say I was the governor of. I am the governor of District 317D, and we have Vijay Vishnu as a coordinator for all our youth affairs. Thank you, Mayaji, for that excellent piece of work on youth. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. This is a whole team which we have done and many more to come. It is because of your encouraging words, which is actually making a lot of difference in us. And definitely, we have about the next 3 or 4 months, we'll have a series of excellent programs. And our guide, Dr. Narendra, has really channelized so many, organized so many extraordinary speakers. And for your kind information, as I said, one of the RBI executive director is going to talk in the future days. And all courtesy to our great Narendra sir, and still at youth, his concern for youth affairs and this one, it still makes us more young, not only me and you every day. And happy journey, Dr. Ragit Prakash, and we'll meet once you come here. And thank you very much for your all support and for this one.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now, next part of the agenda is the person who has been sitting and listening for about more than 1.5 hours. And the person, as I said, I have been listening from the past 1.5 years very closely. And as a governor, he and as a cabinet secretary, we never felt that we are burdened by that particular post. We simply enjoyed it. He has set up that atmosphere of cordialness and friendship during my tenure, our tenure, and from that past about 12 or 13 years of our friendship, his commitments to service, social organization is unquestionable. And as a successful governor, is just sitting with so much of confidence that still his saga, his era of Lionism is just going ahead higher and higher. Sir, Ronald Gomes, sir, it's your time for your speech.
Presiding officers, district coordinator for youth, camp and exchange, and my good friend Vijay Vishnu, and principal of School of Social Works, Roshinila Dr. Juliet C.J., Governor Dr. Deep Prakash, eminent resource persons, mother and son duo Dr. Avinash Shekhar and Lion Dr. Ramila Shekhar, and dear students, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I compliment to all the people concerned for organizing such a wonderful skill development workshop series Zoom meetings. Psychological well-being or mental health is an aspect of life that is ignored or neglected in most cases. Mostly because in India, we would rather talk about professional or personal material achievements and totally choose not to even acknowledge psychological difficulties that everyone faces because of fear of being perceived mental or psycho. Sadly, this has been the case. These discussions have been hushed. But explore with me few happenings that are the order of the day. If we have a car or bike problem, we go to the mechanic. Or kitchen appliances breakdown, we give it for service or repairs. Our houses have electrical or plumbing maintenance. When we get sick with fever or cold, we rush to the doctor. So when we experience mental challenges, why should it be any different? Deepika Padukone shattered the glass ceiling when she came out in the open about her depression, shocking so many who couldn't understand how a successful rich actress could have any such problems. But it also sensitizes people to understand that everyone is at risk to psychological issues, young or old, rich or poor. So, what is psychological well-being as my understanding? It is an individual's emotional health and how the said individual functions as a social being himself and in relation to others around him. Our respected resource persons with their vast experience have helped us to understand these with justice, and I am honored that we have the opportunity to learn from such individuals. Self-care and psychological well-being must go in hand, as it is only when you take care of yourself in all aspects. It displays a positive mental attitude that begins with self-love, having having a life of purpose, enjoying every aspect of our lives, being grateful for all that the Almighty has blessed us with, and then this starts percolating everywhere around us, spreading sunshine. Thank you once again to all the organizers for giving me an opportunity to be here and share the platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Ronald Gomes, sir, for that excellent message as far as self-care and mental health is concerned. So you being a leader and you have gone through all these phases and you have conducted so many programs in this matter also. And in this regard, your presence here has really made a lot of difference. And your kind words and your words of appreciation and your words of assistance will always be remembered, not only for us, but all those participants who are very eager to listen to you. So thank you very much and wish you all the best. Now, the presidential address, my Dr. Juliet CJ, the principal of School of Social Work, Roshni Nilaya. Madam, before you entered, I was talking about your institution. And it was, as I said, it is an iconic address, not only for Mangalore, it's for all those people who has got a concern for the society. Any students who have gone out of your place has been considered as a very iconic social leader. And Roshni Nilaya has been a very pleasant and very, very important address in developing the community service of not only of Mangalore, but also of the society. Compliments to you and your institution. You being here a presiding officer and associating with you, the great honor to us, madam. So you are the chairman and the president of this function. You need to address. Over to you for the presidency.
Thank you, Lion Vijay. Vijay Vishnumaya, presiding officer of this program too. And the resource persons of the day, Dr. Ramila Shekhar, my own teacher, my own professor, as well as our Professor Emeritus of Roshni Nilaya. And at present, the mental health professional and director of Manashanti. And our subject expert, Dr. Avinash Shekhar. Esteemed members of Lions Club International, Leo District, and the esteemed members of the Youth Camp and Exchange, Vice Principal of School of Social Work, Dr. Janice Mary, IQAC Coordinator, Professor Farida Cecilia Gobius, dear faculty, students, and all the participants of this skill development workshop series. As I was listening to Ramila ma'am, I felt once again I am in your class. Years ago I was there, and once again we are listening to ma'am as though we are in the class. So thank you ma'am for that session. And both of you together, Dr. Avinash and Dr. Ramila Shekhar together, has made it a very encapsulated session today. Encapsulated session where we felt that a capsule has two parts mostly. So in the same way, Dr. Avinash has given the theoretical and details about the mental disorders, which our students should surely have benefited from your conceptual clarity. And Dr. Ramila Shekhar has given us how to intervene, how to understand from the practical point of view. And both these together, it's an encapsulated session, I would say. And this will surely help our students to understand themselves, each one, to understand ourselves, me too, and then reach out to the community. And apt for today's training of trainers workshop, it is focusing on community development through youth empowerment. And this is my favorite topic, through community empowerment, because I have specialized in community development during my MSW. And as I look at this virtual portal, we see a community here itself, and you have imparted this information to the entire community who are present here on this virtual portal. And especially Lions International Club, you have contributed a lot to the society. We may be institutes educating social workers, but at the same time, you are practitioners who are reaching out to the social service organizations and reaching out to people in need. So I personally thank you, Lions International, for taking up this session and organizing this in collaboration with School of Social Work, Roshni Nilaya, the IQAC, the Internal Quality Assurance Cell. It is a great opportunity for our students too. And I also wish to say that as we organize this, there is another important thing that Dr. Ramila Shekhar was the former IQAC coordinator of our college. So here, once again, this is the first session after Professor Cecilia had taken it up. This is the first session that we are having, and it is also on behalf of IQAC. The topic actually clicked fast in my mind. And I think this well-being, psychological well-being, is very important before you become youth champions for reaching out to various communities. And this understanding this psychological well-being will surely help our students to understand themselves and then reach out to the communities. So I really thank and congratulate the organizers for choosing an apt topic for this series of workshops, and also the participants, all the participants too, I congratulate for choosing to take part in this workshop. It is your choice. You have made a choice today to take part in this workshop. All that was shared here will really help us not only to deal with the community problems, but with our own problems too. So we can understand ourselves and go ahead to reach out to others. I take this opportunity to thank very specially Dr. Ramila Shekhar. Thank you, ma'am, for collaborating and inviting us to be here on this portal. And this series of workshops is going to really make an impact in the society through the many social workers who will take this to the communities. So thank you once again, Lions International, all the esteemed members who are present here. And I wish that all of us will reach out in the best way possible. God bless. Thank you.
Um, Thank you, madam. Thank you, especially for those kind words about Lions Clubs International and that very appreciating messages. And this is definitely a very inspiring thing for us, and that's what we have been doing. As a collectively, we have been doing a lot of things, and when society recognizes such services, that will be another milestone and to go ahead to prompt us to more services, and especially using this communication, this type of community service oriented organizations, especially colleges. We are extremely happy to do that. As you said, since this type of programs we are conducting for the first time, but there are so many series of programs which is coming up, not only with the topics related to mental health, but in future there are so many these programs which are going to be conducted also. There are two programs which I was talking about. Is one is regarding the former RBI executive director is going to speak. So I'll be sending you the link, and I expect all your students to participate in that. So another person who has been in a very high position in Hinduja groups. So he's going to talk about a very interesting topic in the futures to come. So any of our programs in this kind, we'll be sending an invitation also for you and for your students. And especially, we expect you to participate very actively. We are happy with the level of participation. Had it not been restricted to 100, I think it would have been definitely crossed 200 or 300. I mean, that is the way it has been. And thank you very much for all the opportunities given to us. And definitely, we'll be looking forward to associate Lions Club International with the Roshan India in the future of our activities. And wish you all the best for your future also.
Thank you.
Now we are coming to the fag end. Governor, you want to tell anything, sir? Sir, anything to be told?
Yeah. Now, this is in response to Madam's involvement among the Lions clubs and the Roshal Nilaya. And we, this year, we have taken up the Save Environment program in Ulal. And all the 31 wards, we are planning to have a waste management, scientific waste management system, and it is going on. And Roshal Nilaya is helping Lions Club District 317D in this regard. So I wanted to thank the Roshal Nilaya group for the excellent support given to the Lions Club International, our District 317D for Save Environment and this thing, organic farming program. And the presiding officer, Dr. Janet, we thank you for the excellent support and for making your students getting your students and helping the Lions organization in youth empowerment. And I compliment our IPDG Ronald Gomes sir for his presence, and also the efforts put by our coordinators and the district
There is connectivity problem.
Some connectivity problems.
He is traveling.
For youth empowerment and youth camp, and I wish them compliment them. Thank you, Mayaji.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, and all the people. Now it is the last part of our program, as Governor Sir said. Definitely with Roshni, School of Social Work from Roshni, very many more programs to come along with you, madam. So once again, compliments to all the participants, and very, very special compliments to Ramilaka and Avinash for taking us to the world of a different world, very serious different world, and how to be ourselves, be fit enough mentally with our mindset. Now, the last program, the vote of thanks, it is by Professor Cecilia Gomes. Madam?
Wherever there is human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. On behalf of Lions Club International and School of Social Work Roshni Nalaya, I would like to acknowledge that today's series would not have been possible without the people who are a part of this program. It gives me immense pleasure to thank all those who have contributed in one way or the other to organize the skill development workshop series. Our deep sense of appreciation goes to the chief guest, immediate past district governor, Lion Ronald Gomes. Your presence really means a lot to us. And we also thank you for giving that inspiring speech on how well-being and psychological well-being should go hand in hand. Thank you. Our gratitude goes to the present district governor, Dr. Geeta Prakash. Thank you, sir, for being a part of this workshop. In spite of your travel and your poor network, you have been able to speak to all of us and give your suggestions to the students. And thank you once again for being a part of this workshop. Our special thank goes to the first VDG, Lion Vasant Kumar Shetty, and second VDG, Lion Sanjit Shetty. We thank the district coordinator, Youth Camp and Exchange, Lion Vijay Vishnumaya. This workshop or a series of work skill development series would not have been possible without this great personality that is Lion Vijay Vishnumaya, because this workshop is his brainchild. So on behalf of our School of Social Work and all the students and also Lions Club, a big thank you to you, sir. We wish to thank the district coordinators of youth empowerment, Srinath Konde and Mr. Lawrence Lobo, district chairpersons, Bageshwari Shetty, Maina Konde, Avinata Kajawa, and Keshava Bhatt. Thank you to you. Our deep sense of gratitude goes to the presiding officer, our principal of School of Social Work, Dr. Juliet CJ, who was a great support to all our programs. And also thank you for your presidential address. Our resource persons, mother and son, whom we are really grateful. Dr. Avinash Shekhar, consultant neuropsychiatrist Manashanti, and Dr. Ramila Shekhar, mental health professional. To both of you. Your session today on psychological well-being, both theoretical and practical aspect, I'm sure will help our students to build themselves so that they can build a healthy society. Thank you. Thank you, line leaders and cabinet secretary, for your continuous help and support. Thank you, Lions Club, for collaborating with School of Social Work Roshni Nalaya. You have always been collaborating before in all our programs. Big thank you to you. We thank the NAC coordinator, Dr. Sandra Lobo, and IQAC members of School of Social Work Roshni Nalaya for being the co-organizers. Thank you, dear students, both School of Social Work Roshni Lalaya, and there are students from other colleges also, for being excellent participants. Hope to see you for the next series on Wednesday, December 9th. I repeat, on Wednesday, December 9th, on the theme, Role of Youth in Prevention of Substance Abuse. Thank you.
Mute, Maya.
Thank you very much, Madam Cecilia Gomez, for that very apt and very, very impressive vote of thanks. And that's all here from for today. We'll meet on 9th once again with the new topic, the new series, and definitely with the more capacity of viewing it. And definitely postpone it is there. So it has been a wonderful evening with all of you, and we have just another step into another world of community service, the aspect, and not only it is a sharing of knowledge with others, it is being, we are getting more acknowledged. We are being knowledge, getting some more knowledge about our life, our health being physically and mentally. Once again, compliments to the duo of mother and son. Wish you all the best, and thank you, IPDG sir, and good Arvind. Thank you very much, madam. Thank you. Wish you all the best, and thank you, Dr. Geet Prakash, for all your kind presence here. And special mention of the most kind presence of Dr. Shekhar. I mean, not doctor. We'd like to call him as Dr. Shekhar Pujari. Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll be back. We'll be back with more programs with the new intimation.
Thank you and
Thank
good night.
ಇಷ್ಟು ನಗಡ್ಬೇಕನ್ನ ಈತ ತಿಳಿಪಡ್ದು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಒಪ್ಪಡ ನೀನು ತಿಳಿಪು ಜೆ